Good afternoon, Ayasha.
Good afternoon, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, sir. Very good afternoon to all of you, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
When is your interview, Ayasha?
Sir, my date hasn't come. It will be after 10th of March.
Okay, first, please introduce yourself to us.
Sir, my name is Ayasha Fatima. I belong from Devas district of Madhya Pradesh. I have done my primary education. Whereafter, I shifted to Indore for pursuing Bachelor's of Engineering in Electrical Engineering from Sri Govindrao Steksari Institute of Technology and Science. And from then and there on, after graduation, I have been preparing for civil services examination.
Okay, let us start with women's reservation. Tell me, in India, where have we succeeded and where have we failed with regard to women's reservation in legislatures or in legislative activity?
Uh, yes, sir. Sir, women's reservation, as we have seen in the third tier of our government, in PRIs, Panchayati Raj institutions, it has been successful in various equivalents where we can find greater participation of women in Gram Sabha and also Gram Panchayats, where the reservation has been, as also said by various committees like Subhash Bose panel recommendations, and also it has certified that the participation of women has definitely increased. While sir, failure is also in the same aspect, as we can see the practice of panchayat pati. As example, in Madhya Pradesh itself, while the women reservation was given, women oath taking ceremony was done by their respective husbands. So, sir, that is one of the problems where panchayat pati and the synonyms of the social issues come, sir.
Okay, and what about women's reservation in the parliament? What about that?
Uh, Sir, there were talks about women reservation in parliament where a bill was also launched, but due to technicalities and also the debates, like it might malign the image and it might lead to just proxy women candidates.
Whose image would it malign?
Sir, the malignation of the proxy voting, sir. Proxy representation could be done. That's why, sir, during the debates, it was not passed and it eventually got lapsed by dissolution of Lok Sabha.
Okay, tell me about the POSH Act and three highlights of the POSH Act. What is the POSH Act?
Sir, POSH Act is prevention of sexual harassment at workplace. It was mainly after in lines with the Vishakha guidance provided by Supreme Court judgment. So the highlights are first of all internal committees where in workplace where due representation would be provided for women. Second is the internal complaint committees in workplace where a woman can do greater representation or greater grievance redressal. And sir, third point is the sir. At the moment, I cannot remember, sir. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Tell me, have you heard the term gerrymandering as a student of political science? Have you heard the term gerrymandering?
No, sir. Sorry, I cannot recall it. Sir.
As a Muslim lady, what are your views on the triple talaq?
Sir, given the Indian fabric of secularism, where it is a principal distant model, where state is also responsible for reformation of various religions, I welcome the move of triple talaq as it was had been become a tool of harassment for women, where the divorce was given online, where cases had been filed where due representation of divorce alimony was not given. So this triple talaq that has also been illegal in various Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia, where it is a form of talaq-e-biddat has been given. So it is a welcome move for reformation of civil and the divorce procedures of India. So
Any criticism which you have of the act?
So it makes the act as a criminal offense. That would be a criticism. Other than that, sir, which can be looked upon in higher terms.
What is the
Other than that,
what is the criticism with regard to that particular point?
sir, the criminalization of divorce, which is a civil law, it can be used for in cases where like in revenge cases where women due representation of the male part hasn't been given. So, sir, it can be used as a harassment for the male counterpart. Sir, this is the criticism, sir, main for it.
Okay. Now, my next question is about NMP. What is NMP?
Sir, I cannot recall.
Okay, it's the
sir.
National Monetization Pipeline. What is it all about? What is it about?
Yes, sir. Sir, National Monetization Pipeline is about giving infrastructure a push. Where about I cannot recall the exact figure, but I think so, sir. If you give me a chance, I can guess. Sir.
Okay, go ahead and guess.
Yes, sir. It was 102 or 12 lakh crores were given to the infrastructure, mainly in the brownfield era, where the private participation will be called upon to revive and reform the stalled projects in brownfield investment.
Okay, my last question to you is about blockchain technology. How would you explain it to somebody who doesn't know anything about it, and what are its applications?
Yes, sir. So, blockchain technology is a revolutionary technology in our given the Industrial Revolution 4.0. In sub blockchain technology, it is a peer-to-peer connecting technology where information is connected like in simpler terms a string of pearls or in string of information where anyone who likes to give information around a certain issue can give it. Like we have the financial technologies where it is two way where each information will be stored in a chain of blocks. So, sir, in simpler terms, I can tell about this.
Okay, and what are the applications in administration?
Sir, in applications, sir, it would be a better timely administration need could be provided by blockchain technology. Like we have seen in various financial technologies, examples, sir, I cannot recall, but financial technologies and also the apart from administration timely, it can also be used as a uh, greater outcome oriented, sir. Like you can do better data driven administration by blockchain technology.
You haven't been able to give me any specific example. Can you give a specific example?
So I can recall about financial technology, but in that I cannot particularly recall. Like UPI does not uses blockchain technology, and I had been adamant about block.
Thank you. Thank you, Ayasha.
Thank you, sir.
So, Ayesha, I'll ask you a little bit about international matters, but you have not opted for the Foreign Service at all. Why is that?
Ma'am, given the two attempts that I had been left with, the technical clause of IFS where you cannot appear for IFS for another UPSC terms, and I wanted to give another chance because I was mainly oriented towards IAS exams. So that's why, ma'am, for that I had been opted it, ma'am.
Okay, you want to be within India.
Ma'am, it was not particularly about living in India, but working for India, ma'am. Working in India, ma'am.
All right. Let me ask you about India's neighborhood policy. Have you heard about that?
Yes, ma'am.
What is it and how important is it or how significant is it?
Ma'am, India's neighborhood policy is guided by the neighborhood first policy, where we have been giving the agreements, we have been extending the support to our neighbors without thinking about reciprocating the efforts or the reciprocating any further from it. Like in Sri Lanka, we have been backing for their loans in IMF for balance of payment crisis. And in also Bangladesh, we have recently signed the river agreement. So, ma'am, these are the agreements we have been giving for neighborhood first. Apart from it, ma'am, in other neighborhood like China, we have been guided by Panchsheel agreement, where it is mutual cooperation and mutual non-interference.
So has that been successful with China?
Ma'am, from our end, I can say that it is a lukewarm response about successful, but it is more guided by the Chinese aggressive policy.
So what are they doing now? Why are they doing it, and what is happening along the border with China?
Ma'am, I think so. The audio isn't.
So what is happening with our on the border with China, and what is happening? Why is this not moving forward?
Ma'am, Chinese policy, like we have seen, is morely an aggressive stand, like the wolf warrior diplomacy, where it thinks that either you are with us or against us. And with India rising, it has an inherent threat that India might be a next pole or in the Asian conundrums. So, ma'am, it has been more aggressive. Like it shows that on the border that we have certain issues, and it also portrays to other nations like the Bangladesh or Nepal, where it shows by hand twisting that see, we are a powerful country than India, so we are a better option. So, ma'am, for international politics, it's mainly the border issues China keeps alive because it wants to show that we are better.
Yeah, and why is it kept alive? I mean, what is the basic reason that we are not able to get over this confrontation on the line of actual control?
Ma'am, has been highlighted by various diplomats, especially the Shiv Shankar Menon sir, that the historical perception about China has been different and India has been different, that are getting into the way of the agreement. While China does not take into account the Shimla agreement that was given on the borders.
Shimla agreement is with whom? With China?
Shimla agreement is with ma'am Ladakh and the Tibet and the India parts, ma'am.
Pakistan के साथ हुआ था ना Shimla agreement?
Ma'am, I think so. Shimla deputation or Shimla agreement it was.
Oh, the earlier one. Okay, in Tibet times. Okay, sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, at that point of time, ma'am, the Shiv Shankar Menon sir has also highlighted that the historical perception is the main cause, like the Sun Tzu's five finger policy.
And the non-demarcation. Of the border.
Yes, ma'am. The border demarcation hasn't been on the same line. So, ma'am, that is the main challenge with it.
And what you mentioned in another context, you mentioned the string of pearls. In the China context, what is the China? What is called the string of pearls? Or what when they say that, what does it refer to?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, string of pearls is strategic encirclement of India from China's point, where it has been strategically taking the points of choke points on the Indian Ocean so that it can have a strategic edge on the Indian subcontinent. Like we have the Sitwe port, we have the in Hambantota port in Sri Lanka, where it has acquired. Even in the areas of Sudan and the areas of the Gwadar port in Pakistan, where it has strategically encircled India, so that it can not only strategically encircled, but also there is a military presence of Chinese troops on that part.
Yeah. So is it a maritime issue for us? It's a maritime threat, you think? Is India's maritime security in any way impacted?
Ma'am, given the agreements about UN and also the other international international order, where it has been said that no other territory will be used for others harming the others' territory. So at that point of time, ma'am, surely, ma'am, it is one of the inherent threat that can be said. But at this point of time, ma'am, we are also looking for strategic doctrines like the Sagar doctrine, where security and growth for all, where we have been seeing, and we have also agreements with US, with the LEMOA, GSMOA, where we are also taking a counter narrative for it. So, ma'am, we have been also doing an internal capacity building.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Ayasha.
Yes, sir.
You are comfortable?
Yes, sir.
थोड़ा nervous लग रही हो.
Yes, sir. That is inherent. I think so. Natural. So.
Okay, feel comfortable.
Yes, sir.
You are from Dewas.
Yes, sir.
So there are two nearby districts, Ujjain and Indore.
Yes, sir.
Why was Ujjain in news recently?
Sir, Ujjain was mainly in news because of the Mahakaleshwar corridor that has been made where the beautification of Ujjain was done in cultural aspect, and also second for enrolling of 5G technology first in Madhya Pradesh was done in Ujjain. So for this reasons the Ujjain was in news.
Right. And Indore is considered to be the cleanest city in India. Is it correct?
Yes, sir. It is for fifth time it has.
What they do differently that they are clean and other cities are not that clean?
Sir, Indore model is mainly, we can say that it is both for institutional efficiency and for the citizen participation that it has maintained its first position for 5 times. Sir, in international administration, what they have done is, first of all, they had done their own capacity building with manpower, with collection of garbage. And sir, the second is the surveillance that they had done very well. So sir, like if 7 a.m. they had given a time for a particular what to be collected, garbage to be collected, your garbage collecting bin will be there at 7 a.m.
Okay,
Apart.
Nice. Now you are district magistrate of Dewas. And you have to get that cleanest city award for your city. Give me the roadmap in very brief.
Yes, sir. First of all, we have to do, apart from the capacity building, we have to also, in Dewas district, if I talk, sir, we have, first of all, we have to also look over the recycling aspect. Like in Indore, there are recycling aspect of biogas plants, and also the cleaning of reusing and the circular economy has been very well made. So, sir, this one not only reduces the garbage but also helps in recycling. So second of all is the behavioral change which can be done by the ward competition in Devas district, where wards can be competed for no garbage or low garbage areas, and also for the best ward for segregating the waste. That would help in recycling. So third is also a competitive edge can be given because Devas and Indore are a neighboring districts. So, sir, it can be said that a competitive edge can be given that we have to beat them, or a competitive framework can be also done, sir.
Okay. So, Ayasha, you mentioned something. Shimla agreement. What did you say? Shimla?
Sir, Shimla agreement, sir.
Shimla agreement. So there is one Shimla agreement which happened before we got our independence, and another Shimla agreement which happened after this 71 war. Yes. So first tell me, what was the issue in earlier Shimla agreement?
Sir, Shimla agreement, the pre-independence was, as far as I can recall, was between Tibet and British era India, where it was said that the Tibet will be part of India. And so after in 1971 war, the Shimla. Yes, sir.
Say it again. Repeat your answer.
Sir, before pre-independence was mainly between the Tibet and the British India, where it was said that Tibet will be. Sir, I cannot recall the.
Okay, fine. And tell me about the second post-independence.
Sir, the 1971 after the Indo-Pakistan war, we had a Shimla agreement with it. So, sir, it was mainly because the border demarcation was done, and LOC was defined, the line of control, where and also Bangladesh was made, that there will be the Eastern Pakistan would be named as Bangladesh, and it would be having the border as was defined earlier.
Bangladesh agreement. Bangladesh came in existence by this agreement.
Sir, I cannot recall about the 1970. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Are you
Sorry,
familiar
sir.
with northeastern area of our country? North.
Yes, yes,
Tell me the states which are there.
yes, sir.
Seven
Uh,
sisters.
yes, sir. Sir, there is Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Manipur, Nagaland, Sikkim, and also Tripura.
And
Sikkim and Tripura, sir.
अभी तो 6 हुए.
Assam, Arunachal Pradesh,
Okay.
Nagaland.
Start from Arunachal clockwise. Assam,
Okay, sir.
Arunachal.
Assam, Arunachal. Downwards it's Nagaland. Then is Manipur, Meghalaya, Tripura, Meghalaya, and
You are missing
Sikkim.
Mizoram.
Sir, I said after Nagaland, sir. Mizoram, Meghalaya, Tripura.
Revisit the map.
Yes, sir.
Because if a board member says, okay, name the 7 sisters of Northeast, moving clockwise or moving anti-clockwise. So when you move from Arunachal clockwise, then you have to follow the states as the clock moves.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. Now tell me which states in the Northeast are still suffering from the problem of insurgency?
Sir, we have been suffering from the insurgency from Nagaland. We have been suffering. First, second is also the Khaplang issue that has been in Assam, and so Meghalaya also we have been taking the insurgency.
And what is the problem in Assam? What did you say?
So the Khaplang issue was there. I can recall that. Sir. Khaplang, sir.
That is in Nagaland.
Okay. Sorry, I might have confused it, sir.
Khaplang is a faction.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine.
Okay, so let's start. Ayasha, your views on the hijab issue.
Yes, sir. Sir, the hijab issue has been come after the Karnataka government has been telling about removing the hijab in the uniform code. So, my views on it is that though it can be said that it is not a part of uniform, it can be a hindrance towards education, which has been a right to education, which is a fundamental right. So, sir, it can be a hindrance to it. So, sir, a more empathetical and also a multiculturalist view has to be taken, where we can allow the hijab in a color-coded form in uniform itself. Other than that, sir, it has to be taken in an empathetical view, sir.
Okay. Now, the issue with that is in some ways that some females, some Muslim females wear the hijab, some of them don't. So, if you talk to various females, they would have very different views, even in the Muslim females, I would discuss. Right? So, what's your view and what are your friends' view about this?
Sir, my view on hijab is that it is not an essential part of being an Islamic girl. Other than that, sir, various girls various female take it as a part that it is a part of what has been said to be the Islamic form of life. So, sir, there is like internal distribution and internal conflicts on it that it should be part of a Muslim Islamic way of life or not. So, sir, my view is that, sir, that it is not a compulsory piece of.
Okay. Moving ahead, you're a student of political science?
Yes, sir.
We had a Parakram Divas recently, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, the 23rd of January. Heard about that?
No, sir, did not heard.
Can you talk about what are the dissimilarities between Gandhi and Bose?
So the main Gandhi versus Bose has been on the means versus ends ideology. We can see that. While Bose was more concerned about the means, while Gandhiji was more concerned about that means and ends are equal in faction. And also, sir, not only on that issue, but also they had differences on the development part that India should take. While Bose was more inclined towards industrialization and a top-down approach, while Gandhiji was more inclined towards rural strengthening and also the rural wards and the bottom-up approach. Apart from it, sir, they both had similarities also given on women empowerment and the independence of India, and also the given the equity and equivalence that should be prevail in the society, sir.
Thank you, Ayasha.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good.
Ayesha. I think you did rather well, but you were nervous, and that was showing. So why were you nervous? Tell us why were you nervous?
Sir, this is my first mock interview with civil servants, and I just got very flabbergasted that I might fumble or I might not make a good impression.
No, but you did well. I think overall you've done rather well. And you have your interview after 10 March, so there's plenty of time for you to brush up and improve. So try and be careful of factual errors. Like with regard to Shimla Agreement, you were caught in that.
Yes, sir.
Then political science and IR you have to strengthen. Okay. And a lot of questions could be asked about neural networks since you've done work on that. So artificial intelligence and neural networks, you should be very strong on that. And child and women centric questions can be asked from you. So you did well when we were asking you about controversial things like triple talaq and hijab. You gave good answers, right? So that is what we are looking at. You needn't parrot the government's viewpoint. You have your independent thinking. But some GK also needs to be brushed up, like national monetization pipeline. The answer wasn't good. And it was factually wrong also.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
So you should just brush up things which are currently in the news, and you'll do very well. And stop looking so nervous. There's nothing to be nervous about. And you're doing well, so why should you be nervous? In fact, that takes away from your marks, right? So just project some confidence. Best of luck.
Yeah, take a deep breath and relax. Firstly, all right. Overall, you were good, but again, facts, little more polishing. You need to and focused answers. So overall, you were good, little more brushing up, and just talk to yourself. I think in the mirror or something. Talk, repeat, so then you get more confident. And if you have points for each main topic in international relations, neighborhood, everywhere, if you write it down on a piece of paper and then formulate your thoughts, on that. Supposing something's asked on neighborhood policy, what do I need to focus on? With China, the main thing is that they don't, as you mentioned, they don't want to have resolution of the border issue. So the demarcation is not happening for so many years. So many rounds of border talks have taken place, and lately they have been assertive and saying that we will do what we want, and this is our side of the border. And even there was another aspect which has come up recently: the water wars with China. They are building dams on the rivers, on the Brahmaputra River, on their side, close to the Indian border. So all those issues which are current, write them down in front with India, China, with India neighborhood, India in Look East, and I actually said nobody's asked you about those issues, but those are all current issues in the neighborhood, which are G20. So just write all these points down in front of all these subjects, so that when you're asked a question, then these are the points that you need to cover on. It'll help you. You don't have to say point one, point two. You don't have to say that, but these are the issues that you will need to formulate, to take into account and formulate your answer. All right, and relax. You'll do much better if you relax. If you are relaxed, your mind is relaxed and you can think better. No need to be nervous. Okay? And you're doing well, all the very best. Just a little more brushing up. And one small thing which I wanted to also mention on women's issues, women in Panchayat and women in Parliament. What you said was okay, but there is a vested patriarchal mindset which doesn't want women to come in. I think that is the crux of the issue in my view. Of course, there are all the other issues that are happening in the debate on this and that, and they come up with Panchayat Pati will happen in Parliament. It cannot happen in Parliament. Wahan pe to chal raha hai, but Parliament may not come. You can't have the husband coming into Parliament and speaking on behalf of the wife. So it will not happen. So essentially they don't want, they feel threatened and they don't want to change the status quo. You know, I mean, that's another issue. Just brush up on those points. What are the main reasons for all this continuing? Right? Okay. All the best. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Ayasha,
Yes, sir.
you did fairly good. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You need to just improve upon some areas. You need to study problem spots of the country,
Yes,
internal security, neighborhood, and problem with the neighbors,
yes, sir.
like Northeast. So for that, you should also be very clear about the map.
Yes,
I notice it many times that candidates are not, sort of poring over the map.
yes,
You should know map of your country by heart.
yes,
So if I say name the 7 sisters, then it should not be a hazard. Then you will certainly miss one out. So you in your mind space either follow the clockwise pattern or anti-clockwise pattern.
okay, sir.
Then the states where this problem is still persisting, insurgency and all that. So you should be more clear. Khaplang is a faction of NSC and IM. That is in Nagaland. उसे कहते हैं खापलांग faction.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you should not bring Khaplang to Assam.
Yes, sir.
It shows that you don't know what the problem is in Assam and you also don't know to which state this Khaplang thing belongs. तो एक गलत जवाब देके आप दो जगह अपना इग्नोरेंस कन्वे करते हो. तो you need to be more clear. You still have time. And then you see, you need to be very crisp in your answers. For example, when I said what you will do, you are DM of the Devas, what you will do. So you need to be crisp. I will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So to make a city clean, what you need to do? Collection. First and foremost is collection. How do you collect? There has to be a good institutional mechanism or there has to be good cooperation from the citizens, the resident of the city. Then step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, your answer should be complete in a minute, under a minute. Then the board member may ask you what you will do to get cooperation of the residents.
Yes, sir.
Or what you will do to improve the internal efficiency of the municipal corporation or municipal committee, whatever is there in the Devas. So you need to practice framing your answer where you have to give a well-framed, composed answer. It is not just, giving a date or name or something where you have to show your understanding.
Okay, sir.
Okay?
Okay, sir.
Fine. You can do much better and you have that potential. And
Yes.
maintain a confident posture. I am a confident woman. I am not, shaky kind of thing. मुझे डर नहीं लग रहा है. मैं nervous नहीं हूँ. ऐसा लगना चाहिए. You should convey that kind of message. I'm in control of myself.
Okay, sir.
Okay? Fine.
Yes, sir.
And keep practicing. Keep practicing. Talk to yourself. Recording, it will help you to become more at ease. Practice, practice, practice. Okay.
Okay. Ayasha, the few things which we didn't talk about Devas as a district, right? So it's a princely state, right? And Puar clan of Maratha started it in the 18th century. All that you need to remember, right? Then there's a book, there's a lot of temples there, right? There's a book written by E.M. Forrester on the hill of the Devi, right? Those kind of things you need to remember, right? Factually. Okay, now you have to prepare women reservation or women related issues. Okay, in that, obviously, sir asked you about triple talaq. That's one. The other is obviously the hijab. These two issues have to be prepared by you. Now, here you need to be ready to quote all Supreme Court judgments regarding this. Okay? Go back, look at the relevant article. What did the Supreme Court judge say, the various judges, and then choose any of their opinion as the one which you would like to officially say in the interview. Okay? Then any personal view, that has to be totally your view. Okay, na? That can be as radical, that can be as, doesn't matter. That can be as extreme as possible, but doesn't matter. You can have your own view on that. Okay, na? Right? Here, it can be discussed, right? You did talk about the idea that obviously it can lead to curtailment of the right to education, right? So you said that this can be done, right? You gave your opinion, so that was fine. Okay. But I would prefer that if you would obviously, quote the Supreme Court judgments in these things, right? Gerrymandering, how come? The political science, na? What is gerrymandering? अच्छा, delimitation में करते हैं ना हम. So what happens is that let's say I know कि ये वाला मोहल्ला मेरे लिए वोट नहीं करेगा, तो उस मोहल्ले को मैं अपनी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी से निकाल देता हूँ और दूसरी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में डाल देता हूँ. Make it like that कि जो मेरे दोस्त हैं वही वोट करे मेरे लिए, right? Okay. Gandhi and Bose was fine, right? Shimla agreement पे हुआ था थोड़ा सा issue. So you were like pretty decent on your facts initially, but then when you kept on speaking, it started to go against you. So be careful. Right? So that is fine. Your knowledge level is good. But what was happening was that when you kept on talking more and more, your answers became, went towards, inaccurate. Right? Right? So be brief there. Otherwise, fine. So do you have any questions? Sir?
Yes, sir. So, sir, like my facts were a little bit haywire, and I thought that because of the nervousness, I was just getting it a lot more complicated in head than it was actually. And sir, apart from it, sir, the crispness has to be increased, right? And sir, like if I just wanted to ask that if you all have to give me your marks, so what will be your
Don't bother about that. You did well.
Your focus should be on improving yourself. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now, just I will take 1 minute. This Simla agreement, pre-independence. Tibet never became part of India. That conference between British India, Tibet authorities and Chinese authorities had 2 agendas. One, border with India. Second, border with China. Okay. So border with India was more or less finalized in the form of McMahon Line. However, the China did not sign that agreement, backed out, because they were not agreeing to what British India was pushing about Tibet and China border. So you need to be, I am telling you, so that you need to be very clear on the facts.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, you will end up mixing the things and you will then lose the marks.
Yes, sir.
And if you are not clear on facts, then keep clear. Don't quote it. फिर बोलना नहीं है उसे. ठीक है?
ठीक है, sir.
अंदाज में नहीं बोलना है.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes.
And same with this similar agreement between which was our Indira Gandhi and Zulfikar Ali Bhutto.
Yes, sir.
And who was the third personality there?
Sir, third personality was this Bangladesh PM, I think so, at that point of time. Again, guessing, sir, so not
No, just charismatic personality.
Sir, I cannot remember, sir. Shimla agreement has been totally gone from my brain, sir, at this point.
There was one person who went on to become Prime Minister of Pakistan.
Sir, at this point of time, I cannot remember. Sorry, sir, from my part.
Okay, so there is always a scope to improve, isn't?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Right.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.